Alright guys, out here today planting food plots, September 12th, Central Mississippi. Wanted to do a quick segment today and then we'll come back in a couple weeks for an update. Put it all in the same video and make it easy to see how it's doing. So let me show you what we got here. Bought my seed from the co-op, just straight bags of seed. So we've got oats here. We've got wheat. See the wheat. And then this is a cereal rye. See the little rye grain. And then we got purple top turnips. So what I do, we pour them in the hopper there and just kind of mix them all together. This is 1 1/4 acres on this food plot, so that works out to be about 150 pounds of seed, not including the turnips, but just the 3 grains together. And then we're going to fertilize today. You can see I got triple 13. If you wonder why I picked triple 13, it's because that's what our soil sample told us to get. So we did soil samples back in the spring on 3 food plots. It said to put lime at the rate of 1 ton per acre on 2 of them, but this food plot, the pH is 6.9, so it said don't worry about any lime. The other 2 food plots are had a pH of 5.5, so they're new. This one, food plot, was here when we bought the property. The other 2 we made, or had made, from a bulldozer last year. So we're working on the dirt on those 2. But this one, we didn't have to put any lime, and the fertilizer said triple 13. One of our other food plots, it said 8-24-24 fertilizer, and one of them it said 0-20-20. So we're going by the books according to the soil sample. We got rain in the forecast, I think 5 or 6 days in a row this week, which is why we're out here planting, because the rain's supposed to be coming. So y'all stay tuned. We'll be back in a couple weeks, do an update and see how it works out. Here we are at 2 weeks after planting. Show you a couple of the food plots. We had really mixed results so far. This one came up great. Try to drop down here where you can see. Everything's coming up nice and pretty. It's a couple inches tall. See maybe some turnips. Of course, the rest of it's either wheat, that rye, or the oats. I don't know. But it's all coming up really nice in this food plot. Now the others that we're fixing to go look at, they're not even hardly up, but we didn't get the rain. The reason we planted, because we had like a week's worth of rain every day, like 50-60% chance every day, and it did not work out. We just didn't get the rains. I think we got 1 or 2, but I can still see fertilizer, and I still see seeds laying on the ground here. Drop down here. See these? Still see those laying on the ground, and I still see some fertilizer laying on the ground, so I know we didn't get the rain here that they were predicting. And there's no rain in the forecast. The next 10-day forecast doesn't show any rain, so I don't know what's going to happen. Let's go check out the other plots, and then y'all stay tuned. We'll come back in a couple weeks and see what it looks like. This is our big food plot, the 1 1/4 acre plot. You can see it came up a little bit, but it's a lot more dirt than it is green. We just didn't get the rain for it to come up. And with no rain in the forecast, I'm not sure what's going to happen. So I guess we'll wait and see. Nothing we can do about it. Good morning. October the 16th. Here to do another update. And what a difference that a couple weeks makes. I think this has been 5 weeks since we planted. The last update, the 10-day forecast had like 0% chance of rain. I think we ended up getting 1 inch of rain that week. And we gotten a good rain for the last 2 weeks as well. So this stuff has just really grown. You can see the turnips something to reference there. I don't know, getting close to a foot tall. All this stuff is the oats. You can see the thicker blades. The wheat is like the skinnier stuff. And then I'm not sure what part of this is the rye, but it's all up nice and thick. Beautiful across there. So we're out here today to check the food plots and got the spray rig on the four-wheeler. We're going to put out liquid fertilizer just to give this stuff a little boost. Y'all hang out. We're going to go check some other food plots and then we'll come back in a couple weeks because I want to show you how big these turnips get. This is our middle food plot that had the pH of 5.5, and we limed it, I think it was March. So I'm not sure what the pH is now, but it started out low, and you can see the food plot's doing great. So we'll check out some of the other ones, and our main food plot up front had the pH of 6.9, I think it was, 6.5 or 6.9. So we'll check it out, see how it's doing in comparison to this one. I wanted to stop on this road for a second that we planted and show you how pretty this is down through here. So let's look at it. So this is just wheat, but it's at least a foot tall. Came up great down through here. And I just wanted to point it out because compared to our food plots, this is a shady spot. You know, you can see we got trees. I mean, this definitely can get sunlight through these big openings, but this ground always stays pretty wet. In the woods right here is a ditch. It's always got water in it. But just regular wheat. Just wanted to point it out in case you guys have a shady spot or wanting to plant a road or strip in the woods like this. The wheat did really well for us. It came up really good. So I want to stop and show y'all this ridge top. Something kind of neat happened here. Back in February where we're standing was all pine trees. You know, just like this right here. Right down there where my dad and the four-wheeler is, it's always been cleared ridge top, and this is our third season to plant that. So when we planted it, all this at the same time, that existing, what I'm going to call existing food plot, grew great. So it's 5 weeks old, but all this new ground, planted exactly the same, everything exactly the same, it didn't grow. So 2 weeks ago I came back and replanted it with wheat right before rain, and it grew this time. So if we get down here and look, you can see the wheat, I don't know, it's 4 or 5 inches tall. It's coming up pretty and looks good. But if we get down here by the four-wheeler, that same wheat is a foot tall. So I don't know what the difference is, other than that is been planted. This is the third season that's been planted, and this is only a few months, you know, being clear of the trees. But it looks great. It's all coming up. See, we step here by the four-wheeler, you can see this stuff. It's a foot tall, and you can see the turnips are growing. So it's weird, it's just like a line right across here where it decided to grow versus not grow. But then when we came back and replanted it, it's growing great. I don't know what happened on that first go round, but we got it going now. And here we are at our main food plot, the 1 1/4 acre food plot that's got the good soil pH. So we did not put any lime out on this one, and it is looking great, guys. These turnips are the biggest on the place. All the turnips are nice and tall. Look at there. Thick. Oat, wheat, cereal, rye, everything's doing great. This is the one we did the triple 13 fertilizer because that's what the soil sample told us to do. You can see just the whole food plot looks fantastic. So I cannot wait until it gets cold and them deer start coming to it. It's funny, we've noticed all the food plots we looked at today, we haven't really seen any sign of deer eating on anything. I think it's just still so many acorns in the woods that the deer are not really worried about the food plots yet. But when it gets cold, here in another month or so, they ought to be coming to it. So we'll come back in a couple weeks. We'll see how big these turnips get and when the deer start hitting them. So y'all stay tuned. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Alright, last update. November 14th. Out here checking the food plots. Look at this trail that the deer have got coming down out of the woods there. Coming down to this food plot. We've never had anything like that on this place. Got tracks just everywhere on the ground. Turnips did great on this. Is the food plot that had the 6.9 pH. Over here you can see, and this activity really just showed up last weekend. But the tops, the turnips are bitten off. If you look at this one, you can see all these are bitten off. Just every one of them. All these are bitten off. Right there you can see. So the turnips did great. Everything did great. I mean, the wheat, oats, rye, everything got really tall. Look at here. I mean, all these plants are bitten off. It's got a ton of forage left for them, ton of food. Those turnips down there in the bottom are, I don't know, 16 to 20 inches tall probably. They did really good in the middle. You can see kind of some bare spots where the deer have been, I guess, really focusing right there, eating everything. Let's go check a ridge over here that we just had cleared out back in February. And, you know, it didn't grow. We had to replant it. So let's step over there and check it out. Alright, so we're up here on the ridge. You can see it's cleared on out through there. And if you're interested, I made a video earlier in the year, I think February, when we had this cleared out with a mulcher. And the video talks about how much it cost to get this done and to get some of these lanes and food plots that we have. So I'll drop a link in the comments below talking about how much it costs to get this type of thing done. This was just a straight wheat, and you can see the green down through there. It's all really short, which has been getting eat on a little bit. But one thing I thought was interesting I wanted to point out, so a mulcher cleared this out. You know, it was just brush, natural regrowth, just like what you're looking at there. But none of this really grew even after planting it twice. You can just see a few sprigs up through there. And I'm thinking just because this mulch is so thick, it's just so much wood laying on the ground, that maybe that's part of why it didn't grow right here. It's where it was cleared out a little bit better over there, it grew. So just something to point out if you're thinking about getting a mulcher versus a bulldozer. So we talk about it in that other video, kind of our experiences with each one of them, because we've had both of them out here, and what they cost. So y'all check it out, and we'll go check out one more food plot. We'll go check out the 5.5 pH just to see what it looks like. So this is the middle food plot, this 5.5 pH. And it's crazy how much those deer can eat in 2 weeks. So last weekend, there's quite a bit more turnips left. But you can see here where they've been pulling them up and taking bites off of them. As you can see, they didn't eat all the leaves off of this one, but we got plenty big turnips. Look at this one over here. Eating all the leaves, and you got that big old turnip down there. So, one thing about this food plot, I don't know if you can tell in the video, but the oats and everything took kind of yellowish tint a couple weeks ago when we had like a week and a half of upper 80s temperature with no rain. It kind of turned it yellow, but I don't know. I guess that's drought related. I don't know. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. I know in the past food plot videos, y'all have left some really helpful comments. Please continue doing so. I know it helps me. Hopefully it helps some other people. Thank y'all for watching, and we'll see you later.